threat pipeline in corporate needs to be studied. I've been on the receiving end of this, so I can talk about it. There is literally a fine line between pet and threat. One day things are amazing. You're vibing, you're cracking jokes, you're doing lunches together. You are literally like their right hand. And then the next you're like, what the hell did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. It's just that they woke up and decided that now you're a threat. Then they start trying to get ahead of everything you're doing and creating blockers or having hallway conversations with other people about you. They plant doubt in people's minds around your abilities, and they use their position and influence to try to humble you. And you're probably thinking like, well, I hope they quit soon. They won't. Because the thing about people like that is they are really good at putting on a good face. They're manipulative, but they still get their work done. And that's what stakeholders care about. So while they're out there ruining your life, they're somehow keeping everything else afloat. When I've been in situations like this, I started looking hardcore for another job. And when I found one, I made my exit swiftly. The disappointing thing is the weak coworkers who joined forces with them. And what's really crazy is even after you're gone, the way that they still try to insert you in conversations or talk about things that are wrong and how they have to fix it because of something that you did. But that's no longer your business when you're from underneath their craziness. It's not you, it's them. I don't want to be anybody's pet. I just want to do my job and go home.
I thought I'd talk about something called pet to threat. If you listen to the Everybody Hates HR podcast, then you would have heard me speak about it before. Pet to threat was something coined by Keisha Thomas in the US, and it disproportionately affects women of color and women in general. But Dr. Keisha Thomas is a Black woman. The pet to threat theory is that when a woman enters the workplace, usually an ethnic minority, they are greeted with open arms. They are seen as, adorable, cute, easy to mentor. They're usually used as, the token diversity and inclusion face of whatever initiative is going on. Also usually underutilized. But that's not an issue at this point, right? Because you're receiving all those other things. But obviously, if you're receiving mentorship, you're being given positive feedback, everyone thinks you're cute and adorable, and you're the token whatever for the face of the DEI, then you may have received enough to be able to develop in this workplace. But then you move from being a pet to threat. When you become a threat is when, you're more confident, you develop in whatever area of work you do. You might push back on things a little bit more. You might have more to say when there's challenges that come up and there's decisions to be made. But instead of that being met with the same openness that you were met with when you were the pet, you're now a threat. Now, when you have something to say, people think you're difficult. People think that you're not open to feedback or you're not receiving feedback well. Your confidence is perceived to be arrogant and things like that. You may be isolated. You might receive feedback that you don't really understand. So it's critical feedback. Like they're being very critical of whatever it is you're doing, but it's not constructive. And therefore it puts you in a weird place where you might feel a little bit gaslit. Sounds familiar? Maybe. So yeah, that's like the transition from pet to threat that a lot of women, Black women, Asian women, etc. experience. And I don't know what Keisha has said about this, but from my perspective, I feel like usually the dynamics tend to be a white woman with a woman of color or woman on woman like dynamics rather than like a man and a woman or a man and a woman of color, etc. But that's just my take on it. I don't know. I might need to do a little bit more research. Let me know if the pet to threat theory sounds like something that you have experienced, because I've definitely experienced.
Things they don't tell you about starting a job in corporate America. Number one, watch out for the older women. I started my first corporate job and I did not know that I was going to be bullied by a gang of elders. I thought that these people were going to take me under their wing, show me how to do my job effectively, mentor me. They only tormented me. Anytime I would show up to work late, and I mean, if I sat at my desk 1 minute, 2 minutes late, they would tell my boss. If I picked up a book that didn't have anything to do with work, it would snitch and tell my boss. I was studying for for the MCAT at the time. During my breaks, I would sit at my desk and read. They didn't know I was on my break, so they would just report to my boss that like, oh, I'm not doing my job when I'm supposed to. And the reason why we're falling behind in our department is because I'm focused on other things. They will lie on you, will dog you out. And it's primarily because some people, mostly miserable people, if they know that you have a lot of ambition and where you're working with them is purely a part of your journey and not the destination, it just fuels levels of jealousy that I cannot explain. Number 2, FMLA. I didn't even know about it. I didn't learn about FMLA until like 2.5, 3 years ago. Basically, through FMLA, you can get up to 12 weeks off from work. Most of the time it's unpaid. However, if you pay into your company's short-term disability insurance, it can be paid time off, which is what I did. Way too late, I might add, but I took a mental health break, and it nearly saved me. I wish someone had told me about it sooner. Number 3, don't let that job consume you to the point where you need to use FMLA. I promise you there is no job on the planet that's worth going insane for. Number 4, sometimes your work does not speak for itself. As annoying as it is, the company dinner, the happy hours, all of that, you just have to participate because you will spend so much time working on a project or trying to achieve some sort of goal. And the only thing your colleagues will remember and will probably tell your boss, just, for no good reason, is that you're not collaborative. You're not a team player. You don't participate in company gatherings. Yeah, you're good at your job, but do they really fit with the company culture? This has happened before. Trust me. Yeah, there's so many other things that I wish I knew before starting in corporate, but those are...
Hey guys, so bullying is not enough reason for you to go somebody. Okay, while I understand that bullying creates a hostile work environment, I understand that it's stressful, I understand that it does a lot to you mentally, but that's why our mental health is our responsibility. It's nobody else's. And if you know that there is something in that office or in your workplace that is triggering you, or it's a person who is triggering you, you need to do something about that trigger. Okay? Not the person. Okay? Please. Like, I don't understand. And leaving is also an option, guys. For those of y'all who are saying, well, leaving is not that easy, and what about her bills and all this stuff? Girl, what? Taking somebody's life is an easy option? That's an easy decision to make? I hope not. I really and truly do. And this is also the 3rd story from June to now. Okay? 3rd story of some crazy ass shit happening at work. The first one was that girl and her manager, and the manager killed her. Then you got this story here, and in 24 hours, somebody got rejected. Okay? And I don't know if he took somebody's life or not, but I do know he hurt somebody. Y'all need to do something with your mind. Y'all need to get off of social media and go sit on somebody's motherfucking couch, because that is never the way that you handle a situation. You understand me? Say it.
Listen, new bullies are born the same day that the old ones die, which means that it is never going to stop. It is going to be a revolving circle. So we just gonna sit here and wait for bullies to stop being born, for them to stop being created, or we're gonna actually make some action items so that we can take care of our own mental health, something that we can control, because you can only control yourself. You can't control that bullies are existing. You can't control that, but what you can control is how you react to every single thing. You don't have to react. You don't have to respond. I know that sometimes you get pushed in a situation, but everything does not deserve a response. You understand? It does not. It's not warranted. It's not. You should not give somebody that much access to you, to where they can control whether you are up or down. That's your control. That's what you should be monitoring, and that's what I'm saying. Your mental health is your own.
It's friendly, that's trying to give you all the backstory, the history of why you even got the position, because somebody else was traumatized and left the company. They are your biggest enemy. They are the biggest snake. That the friendliest person that tries to befriend you as soon as you start is usually the biggest snake.
Things I wish I knew about in corporate, part 4. Number 1, quickly learn how to work in a multi-generational workforce. I mean, quickly. I had no idea when I graduated college that I would be working with baby boomers, with Gen X. I would be working with millennials, which technically I'm a millennial. I was born in 94. And I would also be working with Gen Z. Gen X and boomers were a challenge for me when I first entered the workforce because I just didn't understand their ways of working. Some of their practices I felt were really inefficient. I've now learned working with baby boomers, they like emails and phone calls. Working with Gen X, they prefer a Teams video chat. And working with millennials and Gen Z, pretty much I could just send a text, a Slack message, and that suffices when it comes to communication. When it comes to approaching certain tasks in the workforce, I've also learned with baby boomers and Gen X, they're a little bit more conservative in their approach. But when I'm working with millennials and Gen Z, they're a little bit more open to innovation. I've just had to learn in order to navigate corporate America effectively, you've got to understand your target demographic when you're dealing with your bosses and your colleagues. Number 2, mentorship is not just for you to receive, it's for you to also do, whether you're mentoring up, across, or down. I've had the opportunity to mentor across all levels. I've been a mentor to people who are in senior level positions. I had a vice president asked me for guidance on how to approach certain people within the organization. Of course, they had a stronger knowledge base than I did because they had far more years of experience, but they struggled when it came to dealing with people, something that I'm very good at. So they would always confide in me and ask for guidance on how to approach certain things. That's a form of mentorship. Not only does it help you cement yourself within your organization and showcase your leadership skills and your ability to work across all functions and levels, it also helps you when you leave your organization because that same VP that used to come to me offered me a job when they went to a new organization. I didn't even say I was looking for work. Number 3, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Actually, the most intelligent people are not afraid to admit when they don't know something. This is what people need to fundamentally understand. Nobody in this world knows absolutely everything. So if you try to come off as someone who knows absolutely everything, it's going to signal to people that you are either emotionally immature or you have some sort of an ego or you're a danger to have in the workplace because someone who is just going to say anything just to make it seem as if they are right could be of a detriment to meeting our end goal, or it could be a financial risk. There's so many things that people could put on you if you're so afraid to say, I don't know. And number 4, curiosity. People who are smart ask questions. People who are smart are curious. Curiosity in the interview, curiosity in your workplace, constantly asking questions and really understanding whatever question your company is trying to address will take you very far.
Okay. If you're an attractive woman working in corporate America and you're currently dealing with some tricky corporate politics as a result of being not only beautiful, but smart, competent, I want you to listen up because I'm going to give you some real strategy that works like a charm. So here's the scenario. You're in a meeting or a group setting and you can feel that your presence is activating something. People are triggered. The tension isn't always loud, but it's there. You can feel it in the energy shift that happens. It will often show up in the form of defensiveness, dismissiveness, or our favorite, performance policing. That is not your cue to shrink back. That's your sign to take authority of the atmosphere. I want you to say something like this. You know, team, in the past, I've worked in environments where women who presented well and performed strongly created a lot of tension. And I'm so grateful that I now get the opportunity to work in an environment where that's just not the case. By saying that, you've won, acknowledged your lived experience. You know the game, and you're not naive. You've declared a standard for how you expect to be received. You've shifted the energy in the room without having to directly call someone out. Chef's kiss. Now, girls, remember this. You don't just carry beauty and competence. You carry spiritual authority. So don't just read the room, rewrite it. My name is Krista Witherspoon, Christian career coach with 18 years of talent acquisition experience, and I hope this helps.